Our main boy, Kigashi Shota, attends Shiratori Academy, where girls who attend there are labeled as high-class ladies by society. At the start, we see our main character overhearing a group of girls who were talking about naughty stuff. He thinks to himself the label is only from outside, implying that the girls in the academy are not really high-class ladies. Just then, he came across a boy, dashing away while crying from the classroom, occupied by some big sisters. There was a rumor that the club was established for the members to have fun and play with boys, and that rumor turns out to be true. He then eavesdrops on the members talking about how one of the members, namely Tamaki, is at fault for causing the guy to run away from them. She replies that she did it because he makes cute noises while she plays with him. Then they discuss finding a new member to play with, and our MC finds out they are all actually virgins, despite having rumors about them having fun with dozens of boys. Our Shota MC is then suddenly caught by the president of the club, Rika Fujino. He gets tied up to a chair by that big sister. Then he gets interrogated by the 4 girls about how much he heard. Our MC reveals that he heard everything until the virgin part, which makes all those girls glare at him. Worried MC wonders what will happen to him now. Then those girls force our Shota MC to join the club in order to prevent him from disclosing the club's secrets. After signing in the club papers, all the cute big sisters introduce themselves. The blonde gal introduces herself as Yumasawa Runi. The girl with glasses is Kusuda Nao. The girl with violet hair is Shinohara Tamaki, and the president of the club is named Segawa Reika. They all welcome him to the club and inform him that all club members are addressed by their first names. Despite thinking that the club seems regular, he gets caught by the president of the club again and was told that he is not allowed to go outside of the club. It seems like he can't leave without having some fun time with the girls. They reveal how the club activity consists of having fun with each of the members. Hearing that, he quickly takes back what he thought about them earlier. These girls are not normal after all. Later, he gets tied up again as the girls were ready for some fun. They reveal another core rule of club male members. They will follow whatever orders the girl members assign to them, and they have no choice in that matter. They take off his pants and do some exploring, even taking pictures and selfies with his cute Shota body. They plan to upload it on Instagram, even though he tells them as he thinks Twitter will cancel them. He is then saved by the bell, and they have to return to classrooms without having too much fun time with our MC. In the next club meeting, he is forced to wear a cute female costume as the president takes photos of him all over again. Despite his rejections and pleas to stop, she keeps bullying him and lifts up the skirt to take more pictures. She thinks he looks cute in the uniform, but he is naughty inside. She takes off his skirt and begins playing with his body. He tells her to stop, but she doesn't listen and keeps going. The fun keeps on going, but they stop short of actually doing it, keeping the club president a virgin still. At the end of the day, Shota MC returns to his home thinking he can finally rest and get away from the girls. However, to his shock, he finds the president waiting for him in his room. She scolds him for being loud and he asks her why she's in his room. She says he should be grateful because she went out of her way to reach there. When he asks her again why she's in his room, she pins him to the bed and tells him they will do it and she will graduate to the next level with him. Despite his objections, she still takes off his clothes. MC tells her that they should be doing these sorts of fun activities with the person they love. She then mentions how he says all that, but his body says something else. She tells him to shut up and lend her his body. They have tons of fun in bed for a long time, but after a couple of hours, they feel tired. The president falls asleep on his bed. Our main protagonist, being all Giga Chad, thinks she looks beautiful when she's being quiet and vows to show her his manly side and make her behave. With his alpha male mindset, he starts playing with her while she's fast asleep. Even in her sleep, she enjoys him playing with her, and Shota MC moves on to big boy stuff, but then she wakes up. She demands to know what he's doing and says, playing with a sleeping maiden is preposterous. He lets her know that he won't follow her orders anymore, but she makes fun of him, saying he won't be able to satisfy her by giving max pleasure. He promises to show her how manly he is, and she accepts his challenge. She tells him to give her his best shot. They then begin to have more fun than before. He plans to make her discriminatory attitude disappear with his manliness. After he's done playing with her for the first round, she asks him if that's all his manliness can do. He says that he's not done yet, so they go for round 2. After round 2 is over, Shota MC thinks that he will not be a toy for the club anymore and he has to wrap things up. He decided to bully the president and make her clean his body. She obliges, however. She bullies him back a little too thoroughly again and again, saying that it gets dirtier every time she cleans it up. In the end, she shows him she's still the queen and that she can do anything with him. Then our Giga Chad MC becomes a beta male and says he's sorry. The next day, the other club members are shown our Shota MC photos from the day before in a girl's uniform. They all crowd around the photo and think how he looks much cuter than them in the uniform, even though he's a boy. It especially makes the blonde girl get mad at him. Rooney forces him to strip and starts playing with his body again, being too rough this time, which makes the other girls ask her to be more gentle with him. In order to console him, Tamaki takes off her clothes and makes him play with her big watermelons. Seeing that he reacts more to Tamaki, Rooney gets more aggressive and uses her watermelons to play as well. Tamaki then wants to go all the way and enjoys her fun with our Shota MC. Even though he is tired from playing with Tamaki at first, Rooney then forces him to play with her next and make her feel good. She threatens to spread his photo, so he is now forced to obey her. This way, both girls graduate to the next level. Later, they are tired after having all that fun session and she asks him if he's glad to have enjoyed their fun activities together. Our main boy replies she seemed to have enjoyed it more than him. Hearing that, she gets defensive and says there's no way she would have been absorbed in their activity. Tamaki is already fast asleep by the time they finish their game, so they decide to go home when she wakes up. He doesn't understand how a girl's mind works. Upon returning to his home, he discovers Now already in his room doing homework. After looking at him, she asks what's wrong and our Shota MC tells her that he's just a bit tired. She gives him some drink to energize him and he takes it gratefully. She seems to be worried about him. She then asks him if he is okay as he looks a bit pale. He surmises that Now is not like the other girls. After a while, he starts feeling drowsy and falls asleep on the table. It turned out that Now had drugged him and made him fall asleep. He only wakes up to see Now playing with his body. He gets surprised and asks her what's going on. She replies saying how she's preparing him for some fun activity. He tries to convince her how this should be done with someone she loves, but she asks him why he did it with the other 3 girls. She asks our MC if he doesn't like to have fun with her, which makes our MC speechless. She says she wants to graduate to the next level like the others. Shoma MC then tells her to take better care of herself. She then lifts up her dress to reveal her giant watermelons and asks him if he likes them. He was in awe, and they both had fun playing with each other. After the deed is done, she thanks him for allowing her to graduate. She says how she will depend on him from that day onwards. She also mentions that she wants to try different things with him and is already thinking about the next time they will have this fun activity together. Now then falls asleep as she was tired. Our MC can finally relax now. He thinks to himself about how he got into having fun again even though he wanted to do it with someone he loves. He then finds a solution to his problem. He will just fall in love with someone from the club. But there is another problem. What if all of them fall in love with him? Will MC be able to choose one? The president's voice is then heard asking the MC who he will go after. He thinks a lot about this and starts to list out the strong points of all the girls. Rieka is headstrong but gets bewildered while having fun. Nao is usually composed but gets passive. Tama is cute, but she has an abnormally high drive for having fun. And Rooney, who's aggressive but becomes docile in the run. Every one of them is cute and he can't decide. Soon, he hears the president's voice again saying that he is cheeky and is like a baby while playing with them. He wholeheartedly agrees, but then realizes with a shock that she is in his room. It seems like all the girls of the club showed up in his house. Tama is restless and wants to play again. Rudy is annoyed that he got cocky after playing with them once. Nao then wakes up and asks him if he was planning to have all of them. He tells them that it's not like that and the president got angry and says she will not show any mercy. The story starts with the MC, Dariel, a dark soldier serving the Demon King's army, meeting with the 4 Demon Kings. Bashubaza, a Demon King, called the MC so he could fire him out of the Demon King's army. Bashubaza tells the MC that his rank has been the lowest rank of the Demon King's army, calling the MC's will to assist them suspicious. In addition, Bashubaza exposes the MC for his inability to use magic ever since he was a kid. The demons see those who can't use magic as already assigned him on a mission before almost being burned to a crisp by Bashubaza as a warning shot. Bashubaza informs the MC that his father has retired, so those words were irrelevant to the use of the Demon King's army. Now that the army is under new leadership, anyone who can't use magic is deemed unneeded by the demon lords. The MC, with a beaten face, understands his ending and leads with dignity. As the MC walks outside the palace, he reminds himself about what's happening in the outside world, more specifically, the constant war between demons and humans. Although the two groups don't look nearly different from each other, they still fight up to this day. The only way to determine if one is a demon is if one can use magic. The MC belongs to the demons, yet he can't cast any magic spells, so he sees himself as incompetent. A member of the Demon King's army, Rezit, finds the MC outside the castle and teases about him patrolling the area as it's the boring duties of the lowest rank. But the MC corrects Rezit, saying that he is no longer one of them. Now that the MC is all on his own, he wanders aimlessly in a forest, contemplating how despite serving the Demon King's army for 32 years, he just simply let go, and now he doesn't know what to do with his life now. The MC struggles to walk with an empty stomach and collapses, readying himself for the end of his life. As he is baffled by this shock, a beast monkey appears and tries to attack the woman. The MC blocks its attack and tries to buy time for the woman to escape. While he doesn't have any magic, he jumps onto the beast, only to be punished harshly by it. Left with no other option, the MC takes the dagger the woman has and pierces the beast's chest, ending it off. The woman thanks Daryl for his heroic act, and he tries to leave to avoid mixing with a human. But the woman choked the MC by his cape, insisting she thank him by giving him a meal, which he accepted. The two arrive at the village of Locks. The woman presents herself as Marika and shows him to her parents. As the MC learns he is in a human village, he fears if his cover is blown as a demon, then he will be tortured by the humans, so he needs to speak carefully. When Marika asks the MC why he was in the forest, he shares how he was fired from a job that gave a place for him to live in. Now that he no longer works for the place, he has no choice but to wander around and be homeless. Marika tears up as she finds it sad and heartbreaking that a nice guy like the MC would be simply let go by his bosses. When Marika asks her parents if he could live in the village, they gladly agree as the village is lacking civilians and he is able to protect the village from nearby monsters. Marika asks the MC if he's okay with settling in the village of Locks, but he struggles to say yes as they are his enemies. He contemplates how valuable life is. If there is a place where he is needed, shouldn't he do his best to answer their call? So the MC takes Marika's offer and thanks her for her generosity. As the MC spends his first night in a human village, he misses how bigger his Demon King's castle room was compared to his new room, but was interrupted by Marika. Marika opens up to the MC about how he was the first person to protect her, as she is usually the one who does. After she finishes her thanks, she abruptly leaves in a hurry, leaving the MC to question how a demon like him could have saved a human girl despite being enemies. The next day comes, and Marika's father reveals himself to be the village's guildmaster and wants to offer the MC a job to be an adventurer. Marika's father explains how an adventurer is approved by the guild and then their job is to defeat monsters and gather herbs or other valuable materials. Then, the MC puts a stop to Marika's father's words, asking if he could get another job instead, like a farming job. Marika's father insists as he wants the MC to take advantage of being young while it lasts, and it's easy as filling out a simple registration form. Yes, the registration form is easy, but it's only if you are a human. It covers the MC's body, heating his body and making him feel weird. The blue enchantment light turns yellow and finally, the ritual is complete. Marika and her father cheer for the MC for completing the form, while he has an existential crisis if he is possibly a human, as he should have been exposed if he truly were a demon. The MC takes the time to recall his past memories flashing through his eyes, as first being adopted by the former Demon King, Granverza, enlisting himself into the Demon King's army as a little boy, being dropped by the organization he living in a human village as he realizes he is truly a human. Moving forward from the ritual, Marika's father wants to test the MC's might as he used to be an adventurer, so he wants to teach the MC how to handle aura, a power that humans possess. They can use their aura and put it on their armor or equipment as they fight. The MC wants to test his aura with a sword, remembering how to do mental training to be aware of one's mana, but fails. So this time, he manifests his aura onto his body and sword successfully. Marika's father then explains how there are 4 types of auras he can manifest: slash, sting, hit, and block. The MC tries to test his aura on slash, so he needs to slice through the tree stump. So he does it with pure ease and swiftness, and the MC starts to feel the power of the aura. The MC then tests his aura on sting, so he needs to hit an apple with a bow and arrow. So he does, as he also demolishes the area surrounding the small apple. Along with the apple, Marika's father is impressed by the MC's aura but hides his envy. The MC tests his aura with hit, and he crushes a stone with a hammer. As the stone has disintegrated into pieces, Marika's father cries about how it's impossible for someone to have more than 1 aura, let alone 3. Marika's father takes a personal approach and tests the MC's aura on shield. So the MC starts to eat his words and he is repelled onto the floor by the MC. Marika's father ends the aura test and concludes that the MC's aura perfectly matches and exceeds all 4 types. Now that the envious feeling has left Marika's father's body, he takes a serious approach and comments how rare a person like the MC can manifest all 4 aura types at once, let alone initially. As it is a rare talent, maybe the MC's skill set should be spent on the career ladder. Marika's father informs the MC that he could apply and be a part of the Center Guild, a top organization that everyone wants to be a part of, like college students applying for Harvard. He regrets thinking of asking the MC to stay at the village, so he rather let the MC go and let his wings spread free in the outside world that could better make use of his talents. This makes Marika feel very uneasy, as it may mean that her story with the MC will come to an end. The MC starts to consider it, as he previously lived his old life at the lowest rank in the Demon King's army, and now he is able to climb up to the ranks as an adventurer. The idea sounds grand to the MC, but when he takes a look at Marika, he sees a broken expression as she weeps at the fact that she'll never see the MC again. Instead, the MC asks Marika's father to let him stay in the village and serve them as their adventurer. The MC is grateful for the village to lift him up at his lowest point, so he wants to return the favor and be devoted to the place that gave him his big break. The MC understands that it is a selfish request that logically, he should devote himself to the Center Guild as a gifted adventurer, but Marika quickly tells him that it isn't selfish at all and shows her gratitude towards him for wanting to stay by their side. The MC feels happy to make this choice to stay by seeing Marika's smile once again and looks forward to what his new life has to offer him. Now that the MC is an adventurer, he makes a formal introduction to the village people. The people seem to take a liking to him at first, but one starts to doubt the MC's power. Another adventurer appears, and his name is Gashida. Gashida tells the MC to show him his rank, and the MC realizes that his rank started out at the lowest E rank. Marika's father apologizes to the MC, as Gashida is known to be arrogant. Not to mention, he is the only adventurer in the village, so he thinks highly of himself as the sole adventurer that is making a big change in his village. But now that the MC is here, maybe his appearance may influence Gashida to work harder and potentially change his character. Marika's father gives the MC his first quest, which is to gather some herbs. There appear to be many herb retrieval requests, but Gashida refuses to take one. The MC takes the quest, but Marika's father warns him to not let his guard down in the forest, as there have been ferocious monsters there. He informs the MC that there is a giant monster on the loose that Gashida has not been able to contain. Then he shows the MC the monster drawing, and Marika tells her father that the monster is actually dead because it was the gorilla who tried to attack her the first time she met the MC. As a result, they mark the quest as completed, and Marika's father chastises Gashida for slacking off. He informs Gashida that the MC has already defeated the monster that he was supposed to defeat, further infuriating him. Gashida is then forced to thank the MC and quickly steals the next monster hunting quest before the MC can look at it. Then, as he walks out the door, he laughs at the MC's herb gathering quest because he believes that quests like herb gathering are beneath him. Following that, the MC decides to embark on his first quest but is impeded by Marika's father, who believes he is due for an upgrade. He takes his hand in his and raises his rank from E rank to D rank. Then, Marika comes outside announcing that she will be going with the MC on his first quest. So the duo set out into the forest, and the MC begins to learn more about the very friendly Marika. She also wants to be an adventurer even though she doesn't have the capacity to be one. She's been out in the forest countless times but hasn't gone to the dangerous parts where only adventurers are allowed. Plus, she wears a very revealing gown and doesn't mind climbing up a cliff even when the people beneath her can see literally everything. Anyway, Marika knows the forest almost too well and helps the MC gather the right herbs. She even throws heavy logs around like it's nothing. So the MC asks her why she couldn't handle the monster that was chasing her earlier since she's this strong. Marika then answers that she is scared of fighting and hence would have died if the MC hadn't saved her. She sees him as her savior and asks him to drop the formalities between them. But the MC refuses to do so because he really still doesn't know Marika that well. Suddenly, they spot a deer in the distance, and although it looks normal at first, its eyes start to glow red, and it begins to jump around the forest. Then it lands upon a monster and the two of them begin to fight. So Marika urges the MC to seize the opportunity to kill both the deer and the monster. Later, they return home with the corpses only to have Gashida storm out of the gathering because the monster they killed is the one he tried to hide from the MC earlier. Then, a few days pass and the MC begins to get accustomed to his new life. However, he still has to make friends with Gashida, who still feels spiteful that a new adventurer has been taking all the glory. I mean, look at that shoulder bump. He couldn't even shake the MC. Anyway, Marika's father informs the MC that Gashida set out to the neighboring town's forest to join the hunt for a powerful monster known as the Blade Death Scythe. It is a monster that only C-rank adventurers and above can face. But Gashida has been itching to prove his worth, so he decided to go and join the group of adventurers who are currently circling around the monster. However, his act is breaking the code of conduct of adventurers because the monster is not in the jurisdiction of the Lox village. It is closer to the neighboring village, so it is theirs to handle. Hence, the MC sets out to bring Gashida back before he causes any trouble for Marika's father. He walks into the forest and hopes that Gashida is still in one piece. However, he arrives at the scene to find that the group of adventurers has been dispersed by the giant monster. Only Gashida remains on the scene running for his dear life, so the MC steps in and uses his aura to slash through the Black Death Scythe. However, his attack only makes a shallow cut, so the MC is forced to use his block to protect Gashida, who appears dazzled by the MC's immense aura. Then, the MC's sword breaks, so he uses a piece of it to strike through the monster's innards by using the hidden sting features of his aura. Finally, the monster collapses and the MC tends to Gashida's wounds. He examines Gashida's leg and uses the herbs that he once gathered to treat the wound. Then he gives Gashida an antitoxin to stop the spread of the monster's poison. So Gashida asks the MC how he knows so much, and the MC tells him that he learned it all on the herb gathering quests that Gashida refuses to take on. He says there is a lot to learn from any quest because everything in nature is connected. Thus, Gashida is inspired by the MC's strength and begins to respect him. He begins to refer to the MC as his teacher the next day and asks the MC to teach him all he knows about life. Gashida now seems eager to learn from the adventurer he once thought was beneath him, and the MC is moved to the extent that he wonders about his former employers, the 4 Demon Kings. Yes, the Demon Kings are currently in a battle with the hero, and they are losing the battle. So the Demon King Bashubaza is annoyed at their lack of prowess over the heroes' party. He admonishes the other Demon King Zeviantes, who fled from the battlefield injured, and Zeviantes argues that she did her best but did not know that the heroes' party had gathered new warriors. She then complains that it's the assistant's job to do recon on all their battles and not hers, so she shouldn't be the one with all the blame. Hence, Bashubaza looks down on their current assistant and fires him sternly. Then he mumbles that it will be a hassle trying to get another assistant. So the Demon King Droys chips in and asks, "Isn't it time they brought back their former assistant, Gariel?" She says the MC always did his job correctly and cared for all of them, so she misses him and regrets the decision of letting him go. However, Bashubaza isn't having it, so he bursts into flames and reprimands Droys. Back at Lux Village, the MC is becoming more accustomed to his environment and the people around him. Gashira now adores the MC and follows him around like a puppy, asking to do quests he's never once been interested in. Also, Marika keeps throwing herself into the MC. She still reveals a lot, and she throws her weight on the MC like a cow. Anyway, there are still some mysteries about Lux Village, and the MC has finally gathered the courage to ask Marika's father about them. He's noticed that there are a lot of empty houses in the village, so he wonders why. Thus, Marika's father explains that Lux Village was once a bubbly village and a tourist attraction center. He says there's a mithril mine very close to the village that had people passing through the village to get to it. However, that all changed when the mine was snatched away by the demons. Mithril is a metal that contains mysterious properties, and it enhanced the performance of various weapons around the world. Also, the MC acknowledges that mithril is important to demons, and so both sides fought over the mine for many years until it was finally seized by the demons. Thus, it is for this reason that Lux Village stopped being the bubbly tourist attraction it once was. Marika's father says the humans tried to reclaim the mine, but they failed, so Lux Village has just kept deteriorating ever since then. He expresses sadness that his generation might just be the last ones who remember that Lux Village was once a lively place. Thus, the MC decides it's time he visited his old workplace, the mithril mine. The MC was once placed at the mine to supervise it during his time in the Demon King's army. He knows all about the battle between demons and humans for the mine, but he says nothing about it. The next day, the MC visits the mine and finds the place empty. He tries to sneak in unnoticed, but instead finds the place deserted. It seems like all the workers and security have abandoned the mine. However, the MC soon finds that not all the workers have left the mine because the knockers still remain in the tunnels digging for mithril. They all cheer and chatter the moment they see their old boss Dariel, and then they line up to get a pat on the head one by one. Finally, the MC addresses the knockers and asks them about the situation. Then they explain that the Demon King's army took their security to the battleground. They claim that a jerk has ordered them to mine 4 times the amount of mithril they were previously mining for. As a result, they are stressed and angry at the higher-ups. Then they announce that the order was given by Bashubaza, and the MC realizes that Bashubaza has been mismanaging his power. Suddenly, a few footsteps come by, so the MC hides. Bashubaza's subordinate appears to have arrived to collect the amount of mithril ordered. The knockers, however, do not have enough to satisfy the order, so they beg their current administrator for more time. Unfortunately, their pleas go unheard, and the administrator threatens to destroy them if they don't have it all ready by the next day. So one of the knockers jumps out to attack the administrator as he leaves because they are frustrated with the unreasonable demands. He gets the administrator on his head and protests that they can't endure their situation anymore. Consequently, the administrator asks the soldiers with him to kill all the knockers with their magic. Hence, the MC has no choice but to step out of his hiding place and stop them. He grabs a cloth and wraps it around his face, hoping to conceal his identity. However, he is oblivious to the fact that the cloth wrapped around his face is actually a knocker's underwear. Soon, the MC realizes this and has no choice but to ignore the smell in order to keep his identity secret. He announces himself as a human adventurer and asks the soldiers to withdraw because they are not supposed to use their magic on non-combatants. However, the administrator laughs at the MC's words and berates the fact that humans have to use weapons to fight. Then he calls out the MC for giving the knockers the audacity to rebel against him. He says the knockers were happy just digging their lives away until a human adventurer stumbled upon the mine and encouraged them to rebel. Then the administrator commands the soldiers to attack the MC, who responds by sheathing his sword and tying it in place. He doesn't want to hurt any of the soldiers, so he attacks them with his sheath in place and interrupts their magic spells before they can finish it. Unfortunately, the knockers also decide to join in the fight, only for one of them to get his ass kicked by a soldier. And that's when the MC realizes that the soldiers might not feel comfortable killing non-combatants like the knockers, since they are not supposed to. So the MC calls out to the soldiers and asks them to withdraw for the sake of their code of conduct. However, his efforts are futile because the administrator orders the soldiers not to listen and instead to continue casting their magic spells to destroy the human adventurer as well as the knockers. Hence, the MC is forced to fight the soldiers. He understands how weaving magic spells work, so he easily stops all of the soldiers by knocking them off balance before they can complete their spell. Then the administrator instructs the soldiers to use enhancement spells instead. Even so, the soldiers are no match for the MC, who silences them all in an instant. Then he appears before the administrator, who cowers in before him and confesses that he too is a non-combatant who was hired to oversee the mithril mine after impressing Bashubaza. As a result, the MC punishes the administrator and instructs him to inform the demon kings that he has resigned. The MC tells the administrator to inform the demon kings that the mine is a dangerous place and that they should avoid visiting it. So the administrator flees and the MC sends the soldiers away. Then the knockers announce that they want the MC to be their administrator again, tells Marika's father that he has reclaimed mithril mine. Then he asks that they help maintain the mine alongside the knockers. Although Marika's father is at first skeptical of the knockers since they once worked for the demons, but he quickly accepts the MC's request and sends the news over to the Central Guild, which quickly sends workers over to sustain the mine. They gather people to keep the mine going now that they have seized control of it back from the demons. Then people start flocking to Lux Village and the place becomes again the bubbly tourist attraction it was once. However, some things still haven't changed, seeing that the largely endowed Marika still loves to throw her weight on the MC anytime she pleases.